So after the delay with the subtitles from Crunchyroll, we finally got Chaos Child episode number 1, as well as episode number 0, and episode 0 is just a recap of Chaos Head, since this is such a big delay between seasons here, as this is the sequel to Chaos Head. So for people who needed a refresher, that's what that was. So anyone who never watched the original series, which you really should before watching this, as there is so many hints and tie-ins to the original that I even seen in episode 1, that recap in episode 0 was pretty much just to give you an idea of what happened in the original season and series. But episode 1, the second half of this hour-long episode, is the true first episode of Chaos Child, and this cast of characters is already 1,000 times better than the cast in Chaos Head ever was. Now, Chaos Head to me was a fun anime. It truly was. It had a lot of twists and kind of mindfuckery moments. I know that's not a word, but it is for this video. And it had me invested. And the main character, though I despised, I loved how broken he was, and I loved how seeing his mentality get shattered throughout the anime. But the general cast of characters, when they introduced so many supernatural, superpower-like elements to it, it really lost its charm and ended as just an okay anime. Had a very strong start and a very solid ending, but the individual padding in between just wasn't for me. But this is already shaping up to be 1,000 times better, and I think could be as good as Occultic 9 from last season, as this is setting up a beautiful cast of characters who are interesting, their personalities aren't despisable like in the previous series, and also our main character just is a much more likable guy. He has an interest in these crimes, he studied the past instances of these murder sprees that happened in Chaos Head, and everything's repeating. At the exact same dates that the previous murders happened in Chaos Head are happening again in Chaos Child, and he's going to predict what's happening, he's going to investigate, and he stumbles upon this dude getting strangled and his neck being twisted and snapped. We see a girl, we don't know who it is, and he blacks out. This is getting interesting. See, I love the semicolon universe, as it's always something you don't understand what exactly is happening until the end, but you always are interested in it. I think Silverlink, if I'm not mistaken, Silverlink's doing this. They did a beautiful job in terms of the presentation, and of course, I mean, the opening and endings are amazing. They never have bad music in these series. But it's interesting because there's so many hints that this is so similar to the original series, such as pretty much our main character not wanting to go home, similar to the main character in Chaos Head, who lived by himself and was kind of sheltered and didn't go to his family. And I'm not sure how similar this is going to be to the original series, if somehow they're the same characters. I don't think they are. They seem to be completely separate characters, but there's so many interesting tie-ins, even with that frog that one of the characters has, as in Chaos Head, that was a major part in one point of the actual series. There's just so many, like, subtle clues to the original series, and I'm wondering, ultimately, how this is all going to tie in together, as this could go 1,000 ways. It could be its own story, and the only tie-ins they're going to have is just the murders themselves, and someone's repeating them for some reason, or this could go in a direction of characters being reincarnated. You know, they have a lot of ways that they can take this, but no matter how they take this, because the cast is likable, I'm all aboard. It's really hard to predict where this is going to go. I mean, we have this blonde-haired girl who was in this hotel room when everything went down, and she's talking to basically our main character's sister, who was adopted. They both were, so they're not actually biologically related, but she's acting normal. And when I saw that, I was like, are we really doing the same thing that happened in Chaos Head, where the girl appears to be normal and our main character thinks he's going insane, having delusions, and just is seeing things? But she says, did you do this, did you do this, and then tells our main character that he is going to die. This is interesting. Like, it's hard to say where this is exactly going to go, but I love how they set it up. It's a much more interesting setup than Chaos Head ever was to me, as the characters are all likable. I mean, we haven't seen every character's personality. I mean, we have this one girl who's just playing computer games, gets angry, smashes a wall. But I mean, even that is just way more fascinating than the characters we got to introduce to in Chaos Head, at least in my opinion. But something definitely seems up with this guy's sister here, as she seems far too normal, and seems like she knows more than she's letting on, and I think that's going to be a twist later on in this series, where something's going to be revealed that either she could be behind some of these murders, or she has some sort of influence in what's going on. But I think this cast of characters are going to be in for a wild ride. I think, you know, we're not going to see a major dip in quality. We got Silverlink doing this here. The music, the voice acting, it all is damn good. And I'm just excited for more. I mean, Chaos Head may not have been the best anime of all time, and it's far from even being one of the better anime I've seen out of all the anime that I've watched. But it had such an interesting concept that I just wish it was executed better. and I think my prayers are being answered, as this seems to be executing it in the way I wanted to, with a much more better cast. But for anyone who either played the source material, as I believe this is a visual novel, or just watched this blind like myself, how did you feel about it? And if you're new to this series, did the first half of that episode confuse you? Because it probably did, but just know that was a recap to the original series. So let me know your thoughts, and as always, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.